Hey there, today I'm doing a review on the film To Be or Not to Be, and it's number 670 in the Criterion collection. Now, Jamal asked me today what my favorite Criterion release of 2013 is, and I'm still mulling over of that, but this is definitely up there, if I'm not one of the tops. This one in the World Cinema Project that came out from Martin Scorsese. My better half actually is a very big fan of the movie Trances, and it was of course it's a Moroccan band that's being profiled in that. Now, To Be or Not to Be was a film done in 1942, and it's Ernst Lubwitz's finest hour. This guy was a great filmmaker, and he's really great when it came to these like screwball comedy type things. And this one is probably the best. And this one stars Jack Benny and Carl Lombard. And before I go any farther, it has to be said that this movie was done in 1942, and it's a film that it's like in a way it's kind of a propagandist film. It's a political satire film more than anything else. And there's a really funny scene where an actor is supposed to be playing Hitler at the beginning of the movie, and they're all saying "Hail Hitler," and he's like "Hail me," which was actually really well done. But on a sad note with this film, Carol Lombard, who was against the Nazis, and actually she went around during war like many of the different actors did. She actually this was her last role. She passed away. She died in an aircraft accident, an airplane crash, in 1942. After this movie was made, during war times, actually coming back from. Anyway, yeah. It's so. Salute the late great Carol Lombard for this film, and this cast is great. Robert Stack, a very young Robert Stack, plays a small but integral role in this film. This is Jack Benny's best role. Nothing would. I'm a huge fan of Jack Benny. I love to listen to the radio, and there's this channel on Sirius Radio, and it's like all radio shows, like old radio shows, and Jack Benny happens to be probably one of my favorites. So it was cool to see him in this role here. He plays an actor by the name of Tura, who is kind of like a hammy actor, but he thinks he's one of the greats. He thinks he's an Olivier, and it's set in Poland. So basically, they're getting the biggest crap thrown down on them because this is the start of the war. The war starts during the film. He's he's an actor that thinks a lot of himself. He's married to Carol Lombard, and she she loves him dearly, but she also loves the attention that she gets from some of the young officers in the crowd. She doesn't do anything wrong, but he wants to hog the attention on stage. She loves that they come to her dressing room and fawn over her. One of these men at the beginning of the film is played by Robert Stack, and he inadvertently, he has to go to because of the war, but he inadvertently finds out about discovers a Nazi spy, and it's very clever the way that's played out. But my favorite scene in this whole film, I think the most clever scene in this film, is when Jack Benny, who's playing this professor, this Nazi professor character, the spy, he's pretending to be him after the guy has died. Well, the Nazis have found out that the guy is dead, and they don't want to let on that they know that Jack Benny may be an imposter. Instead, what they do is, when he gets there, they bring him into this drawing room, and in the drawing room is the dead spy, the Nazi spy that he's pretending to be. How he manages to get out of that is nothing short of genius. It is a scene that is played so well, so perfectly, that it definitely has to be seen. To Be or Not to Be, maybe one of my top comedies of all time, and I will definitely be getting Design for Living in when the next sale comes up. I'm going to be a huge fan of this director. Now on this one here, I haven't watched it yet, but there is a 2010 French documentary on the director, and there's like a 1916 short they did in Germany, because Ernst Lubitsch is basically, well, he was a German Jew, and yeah, not a good thing to be. Luckily, he came over long before the everything happened over there, and was making films in well, making films about making comedies now, when he decided to make this. And I'm so glad he did. Nothing this deserves to be in the Criterion collection so much. I see movies that The Rock, Armageddon, that don't deserve to be in Criterion, and there's some that you know, I'm like, okay, I get that, it may not be my thing, but I understand why it's in there. But this is not. It's just a great comedy. It's an important film at an important time, and although this is a humorous film, and it is very humorous, and there's a seriousness to the humor, and there's an anxiousness and a sense of dread, because although these actors are going through this and they're trying to get away, and it's a very dangerous time in history, at probably the most dangerous place that you could be at, and they show it brilliantly. I gotta say, this gets my highest recommendation. If you're going to buy any Criterions this coming up, and you haven't bought them, or if you know that there's a sale going on, I highly recommend getting To Be or Not to Be. Jack Benny, Carol Lombard, Ernst Lubitsch directed this, and it's a great film. It's something that I know is going to get a lot of rewatches from me. If you haven't seen this film, To Be or Not to Be, 1942, definitely check it out. It is much better than its remake that Mel Brooks would do years later. Not that, you know, I like Mel Brooks, and I can see why Mel Brooks would want to do it, because Mel Brooks has always been a guy that kind of saw the Jack Benny in himself. And if you watch Mel Brooks' comedies and if you listen to Jack Benny stuff, you know exactly what I mean. But I can see why it would be important to him as a film to remake. But the original is definitely the best. It's the way to go. And if you've only seen the remake, you haven't seen it the way it should be seen. And on this snowy, blustery night, there is no better movie for me to watch than To Be or Not to Be. And right now I'm going to think about the movie, actually, and in the comedy aspect, and be glad that this isn't the time that me and my kids had to go through. Because as funny as the movie is, and the movie is very funny. I love this cover, by the way. It's it makes you think. When I was watching the movie, I didn't think anything about what was going on, or Poland, or Nazi. I just enjoyed the film. But afterwards, I think now it makes me think. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for me right now, it's time for tea.